It's Tuesday, and we're in Simpsonville, South Carolina, and we're watching the barometer and thermometer drop as the weather is going to go from yesterday's nearly 60 degrees to today's probably before the sun goes down 30-degree mark or thereabouts. So it's going to get cool quickly, and the wind is picking up, so the front's moving through. Here are your three trivia questions from the book of Genesis, and hopefully a spiritual thought as well. First question is, why do you think the animals were important to God as they removed them from the ark? As the animals came off the ark, why can we be sure that the animals were important to God because of the scriptures? Question number two, who looks on the bow as a reminder? Who looks on the bow, that is the rainbow, as a reminder of God's covenant? Question number three, what was Noah's recorded mistake that led to sin? What was Noah's recorded mistake that led to sin? It said that Noah was righteous in his day, but there is a mistake that he makes that leads to sin. What was it? Well, the answer to the first question is that the animals are important to God. As a matter of fact, I want to read it to you because sometimes we just think about God making his covenant with man, but I'd like to read to you from chapter 9, verses 10 and 11. And every living creature that is with you, the birds of the field and the cattle, and every beast of the earth with you, of all that comes out of the ark, even to every beast of the earth, I establish my covenant with you and with all flesh, shall never again be cut off by the water of the flood, neither shall there again be a flood to destroy the earth. Now, it's interesting because God comments twice. First, he says it in verse 9, and then he says it again in verse 10 and 11. I'm making this covenant not only with man, but I'm making this covenant with the beasts and the animals that are on board the ark. Now, he didn't have to say that, did he? Sometimes we put an awful lot of emphasis on the unimportance of animals because they don't have a soul. But sometimes we forget they're God's creation also. And therefore, they were important to God, and God took the time to inspire the scriptures to record twice that this covenant wasn't just with man. This covenant was with beasts as well, and with all of the animals of the earth. Second question, who looks on the rainbow as a sign of the covenant? Well, if you said man, you were right, but if you said only man, you were wrong. If you look at chapter 9, verses 12 and 13, it says that when I, God speaking, when I, in verse 16, look upon it, I'll remember my everlasting covenant. So it's not just man that looks at the rainbow and remembers his covenant. It's God that looks at that rainbow and remembers his covenant. It's God that looks at the blood of the cross of Calvary, remembers his covenant with us. Aren't you glad we get a God that reminds himself? And every time he looks at a rainbow in the sky, and every time he looks at the blood of Calvary, he's reminded of the covenant that he's made with us. Question number three, what was Noah's mistake? Well, when Noah got off the ark, he planted plants, but he also planted a vineyard. And when it yielded its crop, it says he drank, but he didn't just drink. He drank until he was drunk. And as a result of his drunkenness, he went to sleep in his tent, became uncovered. His nakedness was a shame to him, and his younger son came in, and it was a shame to Canaan himself, and therefore led to sin, and Cain was punished for looking upon his father's nakedness and then telling his brothers about it. You know, alcohol, when it's used as a beverage and a person gets drunk by it, does a lot of damaging things. Number one, it loosens your inhibitions. There are things that you'll do when you wouldn't do otherwise. Number two, it slows your reflexes. So when you drive or when you do anything where there's any danger at all involved, it slows down your ability to react to the danger. And three, it destroys your testimony because you say and do things when under the influence of alcohol that you wouldn't do otherwise. It's a good idea to not drink. It really is. It's a good idea not to drink. The Bible has hundreds of passages about the dangers of alcohol and the abuse thereof. As a matter of fact, I was watching television the other day and I noticed a commentary on the legalization of marijuana, another drug, another thing that you can become addicted to, and another thing that can loosen your inhibitions and also cause you to do things you otherwise wouldn't do or say things you wouldn't otherwise say. Here's an interesting comment that was made by a woman that was interviewed in that television program. Well, now that it's legal, I might just try it. Now, isn't that a shame? You see, there was a deterrent for some people that wouldn't otherwise use marijuana. But now that that stigma of being illegal has been taken off, there are likely now some more people who will try it because it's not illegal. And as the Surgeon General and others have said about marijuana, it is still a harmful drug, and it is still a habit-forming drug, and it does still have the same effects that you would have with alcohol. I hope you'll think about that. I hope you'll think about that when you say, well, it's not so bad that we legalized it. It may cut down on the use. No, it may increase the use because some people who were deterred by the fact that it was illegal may now try it. And as a result of trying it, may become addicted. Your thought for the day. God bless you. Have a good day.